Conscious consumption, seeking purpose beyond materialism. Introduction. Modern society shapes a model of consumption around individuals based on the constant acquisition of material goods. Advertising, social media, and the culture of success create the illusion that happiness and satisfaction directly depend on the number of purchased items, income level, or ownership of the latest gadgets. Yet, more and more people feel the emptiness of material wealth and strive to find meaning and purpose beyond material consumption. Conscious consumption becomes a philosophy aimed at restoring a person's sense of control over their life and helping define priorities based on values rather than brands. It requires rethinking habits, avoiding meaningless purchases, and seeking deep fulfillment through experiences, relationships, and personal growth. 1. Origins of materialism and its impact on society. Materialism is not only a philosophical concept, but also a social phenomenon that has shaped human life for centuries. In modern contexts, materialism manifests through consumer culture, pursuing new items for status and recognition, linking happiness to possessions. The belief that acquiring material goods leads directly to satisfaction, comparison with others, constantly measuring one's success against others. Achievements research shows that a high level of consumption does not always correlate with happiness. Moreover, constant striving for new things can lead to stress, anxiety, and depression. Material possessions become an illusory source of security and meaning, distracting from deeper aspects of life. 2. Philosophical and psychological aspects of conscious consumption. Conscious consumption draws on the ideas of various philosophical schools, including Stoicism, Buddhism, and existentialism. A common theme in these teachings is the pursuit of inner balance, moderation, and mindfulness. Stoicism teaches that happiness depends not on external circumstances, but on internal attitudes. Buddhism emphasizes detachment from attachments and finding satisfaction in the present moment. Existentialism focuses on personal responsibility for choices and the search for life's meaning. Psychology also confirms the benefits of conscious consumption. Studies show that people oriented toward experiences and personal growth rather than material possessions experience a more stable sense of life satisfaction. 3. The practice of conscious consumption. Conscious consumption is not about rejecting all material goods, but about making choices based on values and priorities. It includes reflecting on habits, analyzing what we buy and why, reducing impulsive purchases, being mindful of desires, choosing quality and long-lasting goods, preferring items that last and do not harm the environment, investing in experiences, travel, learning, and social interactions as enduring sources of joy. Ethical consumption, considering the impact on people and the environment through purchasing decisions. 4. The social dimension of conscious consumption. Conscious consumption impacts not only individuals but society as a whole. Environmental effect, reducing waste and carbon footprint, economic transformation, supporting small businesses, ethical producers, and local manufacturers. Social responsibility, promoting values where success is measured by societal contribution rather than material wealth. 5. Seeking meaning beyond materialism. The core of conscious consumption is the search for deeper life meaning. This can manifest through spirituality and self-awareness, meditation, philosophical reflection, and spiritual practices, social connections, family, friendships, and volunteering, creativity and personal growth, art, sports, scientific pursuits, and learning new skills. Through these sources, individuals can achieve lasting fulfillment and purpose, independent of material possessions. 6. Barriers to conscious consumption despite its benefits. Conscious consumption faces several challenges: social pressure, expectations from others and societal norms, internal habits, and dependency on consumption, impulsive purchases and brand attachment, marketing influence. Advertising creates artificial needs, and the illusion that happiness requires constant acquisition. Overcoming these barriers requires discipline, reflection, and the formation of new habits. 7. History and evolution of consumer culture to understand modern materialism. It is important to trace its historical roots. 7.1. Consumption in antiquity, in the Middle Ages and ancient civilizations, Egypt, Mesopotamia, Greece. Consumption was limited to necessities and the demonstration of status for the elite. Focused on survival and luxury was reserved for rulers and priests in medieval Europe. Market economies were underdeveloped, and religious norms shaped attitudes toward possessions. Excessive accumulation was often considered sinful. Thus, material goods were not regarded as the main source of happiness. 7.2. The consumption revolution, the 19th century industrial revolution, brought radical changes. Factories, mass production, and trade made goods accessible to a broader population. In the 20th century, advertising and mass media created a consumer culture where status and identity were measured by ownership. Today, consumer culture is global. Advertising influences the subconscious, linking happiness to material possessions. People buy not only for utility, but for symbolic meaning, signaling success and belonging. 8. Economic aspects of conscious consumption relates to economic behavior that resists marketing-driven models. 8.1. Minimalism and sustainable consumption. Minimalism advocates reducing possessions to essentials. Research shows minimalists experience lower stress, more free time, and greater financial independence. Sustainable consumption emphasizes conscious choices, buying eco-friendly products, avoiding single-use items, and supporting local producers. This reduces environmental impact and promotes social responsibility. 8.2. Financial literacy and priorities. Conscious consumption is closely linked to financial literacy. People who understand their income and expenses are less prone to impulsive purchases and can invest in long-term goals such as education, experiences, and health. 9. Psychological research on consumer behavior. Scientific studies confirm that material goods do not provide lasting happiness. Timothy Templeton, 2015. Purchasing experiences. Travel. Learning provides longer-lasting satisfaction than buying things. Ed Diener, ETL, 1999. People focused on material goals experience more stress and anxiety. Kelly McGonigal, mindfulness practices meditation, gratitude, reflection significantly increase subjective well-being. These findings underscore the need to shift focus from objects to experiences, relationships, and self-realization. 10. Spirituality and philosophy as an alternative to. Linked to seeking spiritual meaning. Many philosophical schools and religious traditions provide methods to transcend the material. Buddhism, detachment from possessions, understanding impermanence, valuing inner peace. Stoicism, focus on the inner world, acceptance of external circumstances. Cultivation of virtue. Christianity, emphasis on spiritual life, love for others, and humility. Modern mindfulness, philosophy, presence in the moment, awareness of actions and needs. Through these approaches, individuals find fulfillment not in things but in meaningful experience, responsibility, and conscious action. 11. Life examples and real practices. 11.1. Personal experiences. People transitioning to conscious consumption report life changes, reduce stress and financial freedom after giving up impulsive purchases. Families practicing minimalism spend more time together and participate in shared projects and travel. Youth focusing on experience and skills develop faster than those prioritizing possessions. 11.2. Community initiative eco stores and local brands offer products with minimal environmental impact. Cooperative communities and sharing platforms promote a sharing economy. Educational programs teach financial literacy and sustainable consumption. These examples demonstrate conscious consumption's effect on both individual and societal levels. 12. Benefits and long-term effects of conscious consumption. Emotional well-being, reduced anxiety and stress. Financial freedom, fewer unnecessary expenses, and more investment in personal growth. Environmental sustainability, reduced ecological footprint. Social responsibility, support for ethical producers. Improved community relations, life purpose, finding meaning beyond material. Wealth. 13. Practical steps for conscious consumption. 13.1. Analyzing habits. Keep spending journal to track what truly brings satisfaction. Separate desires into essential and impulsive. 13.2. Planning and prioritizing. Set long-term goals. Education. Health, travel, creativity. Align purchases with values, not societal expectations. 13.3. Reducing impulsive consumption. 24-hour rule. Wait before purchasing to confirm need. Limit subscriptions and advertising. Exposure. 13.4. Investing in experiences and knowledge. Spend on travel, education, workshops. Sports. Create personal projects and hobbies that bring joy and growth. 13.5. Ethical and sustainable consumptions. Support ethical producers and local businesses. Minimize waste. Use reusable items. Recycle. Engage in social and volunteer projects. 14. Cases of conscious consumption. 14.1. Minimalist communities, minimalist groups in the US and Europe report reduced stress, more free time, improved relationships. 14.2. Corporate initiatives. Clothing companies use organic materials and reduce waste. Tech companies implement trade-in and recycling programs. 14.3. Personal example: a young professional reduces clothing and tech purchases, investing in travel and online courses. After a year, they experience broader worldview, social connections reduced. Stress and anxiety. 15. Barriers and overcoming them. 15.1. Internal barriers. Impulsive purchases. Brand dependencies. Self-awareness meditation. Consumption journal. 15.2. Social barriers. Peer pressure. Advertising. Cultural norms. Solution. Community support. Rejecting comparison. 15.3. Economic barriers. Cheap. Unnecessary product. Solution. Budget planning. Long-term investments. Conscious choice. 16. Conscious consumption and a sustainable future on a global scale. Conscious consumption can change the world. Ecology, reduced waste, less pollution, resource protection. Social justice, supporting ethical production. Improving labor conditions. Economic sustainability, fostering small business. Reducing mass production dependence. Thus, conscious consumption is both a personal choice and a contribution to a fairer, sustainable world. 17. Conclusion: conscious consumption is a path to a life filled with meaning, satisfaction, and inner harmony. It requires reflection, discipline, and the courage to resist societal stereotypes. Its main goal is not rejecting material goods, but balancing external and internal, material and spiritual. Individuals learn to distinguish true needs from imposed desires, directing resources toward growth, experience, and relationships. The practice of conscious consumption enables improved emotional and psychological well-being, reduced stress and anxiety related to material expectations, financial literacy and independence, psychological and social sustainability, deep life purpose beyond material world. In short, happiness is measured not by the quantity of possessions, but by the quality of experience, relationships, and inner state. Conscious consumption is a philosophy capable of transforming both individual lives and the world around them.